This is the story of how Cardi B's relationship with NFL star Stefon Diggs showed warning signs from day one that everyone saw coming except her. We're talking about the Cardi and Offset divorce drama that led straight into another messy situation, and from overlapping pregnancies to criminal charges, we're breaking down the timeline of an NFL relationship that had red flags from the very beginning. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs started dating in October 2024 when rumors hit that the rapper was moving on from Offset. Fast forward just over a year and Cardi is defending her relationship online, while Diggs faces felony criminal charges, and the internet wants answers about how we got here. Today we're going through the entire timeline with all the verified facts to show you exactly why this relationship was problematic from the moment it started. If you're here for the full tea on this situation, do me a favor and smash that like button right now so more people can see this breakdown. Let's start with where both of them were when this relationship began. Cardi B, the 32-year-old Grammy-winning rapper, had been married to fellow rapper Offset since September 20th, 2017, and together they had 3 children. Culture was born July 10, 2018, Wave arrived September 4, 2021, and their third child, Blossom, came into the world on September 7, 2024. Now here's the first detail that matters. When Cardi and Diggs started dating, Cardi was still legally married. Filing for divorce from Offset happened on July 31, 2024, which was actually her second attempt at ending the marriage, since she'd also filed back in September 2020 before dismissing it later that year. As of January 2026, that divorce from Offset still isn't finalized, which means, legally speaking, she's still Mrs. Offset. Stefon Diggs is also 32 years old and plays wide receiver for the New England Patriots after signing with them in March 2025 on a 3-year deal worth $69 million with $26 million guaranteed. His brother Stefon Diggs plays for the Dallas Cowboys, so football runs in the family. On paper, he's a successful NFL player, having a decent season with 82 receptions and 970 yards through 16 games in 2025. But what most people didn't know about Stefon Diggs until this relationship became public was just how complicated his personal life really was, and that's where our story really begins. The first rumors about Cardi and Diggs surfaced in October 2024, when DJ Academics alleged on October 7 that the two were involved. Cardi went on Instagram Live and addressed these rumors by calling them insane and crazy, denying everything publicly. But clearly something was happening behind the scenes that she didn't want anyone to know about yet. Think about the timing here. This was just 2 months after she filed for divorce from Offset in July, and only 1 month after giving birth to her third child with him in September. By December 2024, during public online exchanges with Offset, Cardi confirmed she was dating and even told Offset to sign the papers today in all caps. But here's where the first major red flag appears, and it's a big one. In that same month of December 2024, a woman named Eileen LaPera filed a paternity lawsuit against Stefon Diggs, claiming he was the father of her unborn child. Let me repeat that so it really sinks in. While Cardi and Diggs were already involved, another woman was pregnant with his baby and filing legal paperwork about it. For the first few months of 2025, Cardi and Diggs kept things relatively quiet and under the radar. Then, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, TMZ captured footage of them together in Miami at a nightclub, which was the first real visual evidence that something was going on. In April, they showed up at Coachella, where Cardi was spotted giving Diggs a lap dance, and Offset responded to a fan by saying, "I'm happy for her," with 2 exclamation points that probably meant the opposite. On May 5th, they both attended the Met Gala separately, but were reportedly seen at an after-party together, according to Just Jared. Then came their first official public appearance on May 12, 2025, at a New York Knicks versus Boston Celtics NBA playoff game at Madison Square Garden, where they packed on the PDA, held hands, and Cardi was even seen on the Jumbotron squeezing Diggs' cheeks like they were the cutest couple on earth. 3 weeks later, on June 1, 2025, Cardi made the relationship Instagram official by posting photos of them on a boat together and a video of her grinding against him. They also vacationed in France, where Diggs rented the Château de Farcheville castle, because nothing says romance like an expensive French castle. Everything looked perfect on social media, with all the lovey-dovey posts and romantic getaways. But remember that paternity case from December? That baby was born on April 2, 2025, a little girl named Charlie Harper Diggs Lopera, and her existence was a ticking time bomb for this relationship that would eventually explode. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into the drama, hit that subscribe button, because we cover all the celebrity tea you need to know about. On September 17, 2025, Cardi announced on CBS Mornings with Gayle King that she was pregnant, saying, "Yes, I am. I'm having a baby with my boyfriend, Stefon Diggs." 2 days later, she released her sophomore album, Am I the Drama?, on September 19th, which is an ironic title considering what was about to unfold. During that CBS interview, Cardi seemed happy and optimistic about everything. She told Gayle, "I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel like I'm in a good space. I feel very strong. I feel very powerful that I'm doing all this work. But I'm doing all this work while I'm creating a baby, and me and my man were very supportive of each other." But just 1 day after announcing her pregnancy on September 18, Cardi addressed the paternity drama on social media by referencing Shirley Brown's song Woman to Woman and said, "That's your baby daddy, bitch? That's my baby daddy too. Well, what now? I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out, bitch." Think about that for a second and let it really sink in. She's publicly acknowledging that while she's pregnant with his baby, there's another woman who also has his baby, and she's saying they'll have to figure it out. That's not the statement of someone who feels secure in their relationship, but rather someone trying to make light of a serious situation that's probably eating her up inside. In a Billboard interview, Cardi talked about Diggs' work ethic and said he has to do 2 different things: learn his playbook and get physical. He has to be in bed at a certain time and wake up at a certain time. She also opened up about dating in her 30s. It was very tough, but it is what it is. It's tough hiding. It's tough dating in your 30s too, but I like him. I love him today. I was always scared of dating people because I've always been in a long relationship since I was like 21. On November 4, 2025, Cardi gave birth to their baby boy, her 4th child and Diggs' first son. Everything seemed fine for about 48 hours, which is how long it took for the next bomb to drop. Then, on November 6, 2025, the paternity test results came back, and Stefon Diggs was confirmed as the father of Eileen Lopera's daughter, Charlie. Lopera's attorney, Tamar Armanak, released a statement saying, "The paternity has been confirmed. Mr. Diggs is the father of the child," and continued, "Now that the child's paternity has been established and Mr. Diggs has acknowledged his daughter, my client hopes they can work toward being great parents to their child." So Cardi had just given birth 2 days earlier, and now it's confirmed in legal documents that her boyfriend has another baby with another woman, a baby that was conceived while they were together. But it gets worse, and when I say worse, I mean significantly worse. As the relationship continued and more information came out, the public learned that Stefon Diggs has 6 children total with at least 4 to 5 different women. Let me break this down for you because the numbers are wild. He has a daughter named Nova, born October 14, 2016, who's now 8 or 9 years old, and the mother is allegedly someone named Tyler Marie, though that hasn't been publicly confirmed by Diggs himself. He has a daughter named Shiloh, born in 2023, who's now 2 years old, and her mother is Kennedy Moore, who posted TikTok videos celebrating Shiloh's first birthday in 2024. Then there's Charlie Harper Diggs Lopera, born April 2nd, 2025, whose paternity was confirmed on November 6th, 2025, and her mother is Aileen Lopera, who goes by Lord Giselle on Instagram. Cardi gave birth to their son on November 4th, 2025, making him Diggs's first son. But then on Christmas Day 2025, Diggs posted photos to Instagram that revealed he had at least 2 more children born in 2025, one with a woman named Kina Barber and another with someone named Kai Benji. His caption said, "One of my boys' first Christmas," which confirmed he had multiple sons nobody knew about. Do the math on that timeline. Stefon Diggs fathered 3 newborns in the same calendar year, one in April, one in November, and at least one more somewhere in 2025. That means multiple women were pregnant with his children at the exact same time, which means while Cardi was pregnant and publicly declaring her love for this man, he had at least one other woman and possibly 2 also carrying his children. Quick pause. If this drama is making your jaw drop, make sure you're subscribed because this channel serves the hottest celebrity tea every single week. Let's go back to that paternity case for a second, because the legal details matter, and they paint a picture of what Cardi knew when. When Aileen Lopera filed her lawsuit in December 2024 while she was still pregnant, she requested sole physical and legal custody of the baby, visitation rights for Diggs, and coverage of pregnancy expenses, birth expenses, and attorney fees. In July 2025, 5 months into their public relationship, Diggs responded to the lawsuit, and his response stated he was not certain he was the father, so he requested genetic testing. However, he also said that if paternity was confirmed, he wanted joint legal and physical custody, which means he was preparing for the possibility. So in July 2025, Diggs was in court saying he wasn't sure if another woman's baby was his, and Cardi announced her pregnancy with him just 2 months later in September. The timeline makes it crystal clear. Cardi knew about this paternity case when she decided to have a baby with him. On Christmas Day 2025, just 7 weeks after their son was born, Cardi and Diggs spent the holiday separately. Diggs posted photos with multiple other children on Instagram with the caption, "One of my boys' first Christmas," revealing that he had more children than people realized, and choosing to spend Christmas with them instead of with his newborn son and Cardi. Think about what that says about priorities. Your girlfriend just gave birth to your first son 7 weeks ago, and you're spending Christmas with other baby mothers and their children instead of bonding with your newborn son. The internet had an absolute field day with this, and the criticism intensified significantly after those posts went up. Just when you thought this situation couldn't get more complicated, on December 30th, 2025, criminal charges were filed against Stefon Diggs in Dedham District Court in Massachusetts. The charges were felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault and battery, which are serious accusations that could affect his entire career. Here are the details of what allegedly happened on December 2nd, 2025, at Diggs' home in Dedham, Massachusetts, according to the legal filing. A private chef named Mila Adams claimed that Diggs owed her money for her work after she'd been hired in July 2025 to be his personal chef for the entire NFL season. According to the allegations, Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom at his home during an argument over the unpaid wages. Adams claims Diggs smacked her across the face, then choked her using the crook of his elbow around her neck. She stated she had trouble breathing and feared blacking out, then says he threw her onto the bed, said, "Thought so," and left the room. Adams first went to the police on December 16th to report what happened. Then on December 20th, she reportedly received a voicemail and text from a woman believed to be Diggs' girlfriend saying, "You don't need to do all this. It's not that big of a deal," which, if true, means someone was trying to get her to drop the charges. On December 23rd, Adams told police to proceed with the charges. Diggs' attorney, David Meyer, released a statement saying Stefon Diggs categorically denies these allegations. They are unsubstantiated, uncorroborated, and were never investigated because they did not occur. The statement claimed the allegations result from an employee-employer financial dispute that was not resolved to the employee's satisfaction, basically saying this is about money and nothing else. The New England Patriots released their own statement. The New England Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stefon. Diggs' arraignment is scheduled for January 23, 2026, which happens to be just 2 days before the AFC Championship game if the Patriots advance in the playoffs. These are serious charges, where felony strangulation or suffocation is not a minor accusation, and whether Diggs is guilty or innocent will be determined in court. But the fact remains that Cardi B is now in a relationship with someone facing these charges while she has a newborn baby with him. By late December 2025, the criticism online had reached a fever pitch. People were dragging Cardi for staying with Diggs despite all these red flags, the multiple baby mothers, the overlapping pregnancies, spending Christmas away from their newborn, and now criminal charges on top of everything else. On December 29, 2025, Cardi posted a video responding to critics where she said, "Y'all need to calm down. Is y'all cool? Y'all been dragging me for 3 or 4 days. Y'all been a little bit too mean. I can't change shit. I can't go back in time. I already had a baby. I don't know what y'all want me to do. We can only go forward now." She also said, "Y'all want me to put my baby back in my pussy? Huh? I don't know what y'all want me to do. Y'all want me to leave my man and F yours?" Which was her way of saying the critics needed to mind their own business. Cardi emphasized she was stressed about her upcoming tour and needed fan support instead of criticism. Her friend Ken Barbie also defended her by explaining blended family complexities and saying that if baby mothers have boundaries about their children being around Cardi, that's just what it is. Ken Barbie also said, "Y'all been talking about these other kids all year. Why are we acting shocked?" Which was a fair point about the fake outrage. But here's the thing people aren't understanding. The public isn't shocked. They're concerned, and there's a big difference between those two reactions. Before we continue, if you appreciate these deep dives that give you all the facts without the fluff, show some love by hitting that like button and dropping a comment below. Let's be clear about something right now. Cardi B is a grown woman who can date whoever she wants and make her own choices about her life. But when we look at the facts, the timeline, and the pattern of behavior, it's hard not to see this relationship as a mistake from the very beginning. And here's why. First issue is the timing. Cardi started dating Diggs just months after filing for divorce from Offset and just 1 month after giving birth to their 3rd child together. She jumped from one complicated relationship directly into another one without taking any time for herself. She herself admitted in that Billboard interview that she'd always been in a long relationship since I was like 21, which tells you this is someone who doesn't know how to be alone, who doesn't take time to heal and figure out what they really want before jumping into something new. Second issue is that the red flags were immediate and impossible to ignore. By December 2024, just 2 months into whatever they had going on, Aileen Lopera was filing a paternity lawsuit, claiming Diggs was the father of her unborn child. Cardi knew about this lawsuit, she knew another woman was pregnant and claiming Diggs was the father, and she continued the relationship anyway, instead of pumping the brakes. Third issue is that Cardi made the decision to have a baby with Diggs while knowing there was an active paternity case, while knowing he potentially had another woman pregnant, and while her own divorce wasn't even finalized yet. She announced her pregnancy in September 2025, and the paternity of Charlie wasn't confirmed until November. But the lawsuit was filed months earlier, so the writing was on the wall. Fourth issue is the sheer number of children and baby mothers involved.
6 children with 4 to 5 different women is not just a red flag, it's an entire red banner waving in the wind screaming, "Run away!" And 3 of those children were born in the same calendar year, which shows a pattern of behavior, a lack of responsibility, and an inability or unwillingness to be careful about who he has children with. Fifth issue is spending Christmas away from his newborn son just 7 weeks after birth to be with other baby mothers, which shows exactly where his priorities are. If a man will do that 7 weeks in, what will he do 7 months in or 7 years down the road? And finally, the 6th issue is the criminal charges. Whether Diggs is guilty or not will be determined in court, and everyone deserves due process, but the allegations alone are serious enough that they should make anyone pause and reconsider. Felony strangulation charges are not something to take lightly under any circumstances.
There's another layer to this that makes it even more complicated and messy. Cardi is still legally married to Offset as we speak. On September 22, 2025, during an X Spaces conversation, Cardi claimed that Offset was demanding she pay his taxes and give him property before he'd signed the divorce papers. She said, "The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for their taxes," which paints a picture of a man holding the divorce hostage. In October 2025, Offset appeared on the Baby This Is Keke Palmer podcast and admitted to stepping out during their marriage. He said, "I should have respected her way more. I made bad decisions as a man, like stepping out, finally owning up to his behavior." He acknowledged that infidelity was the reason for the divorce by saying, "That's why when she left, I had to take that on the chin," admitting he deserved the consequences. So Cardi left Offset because of his infidelity and pattern of disrespect, only to immediately get into a relationship with a man who was simultaneously impregnating multiple women at the same time. She traded one problematic situation for another one that's arguably worse in terms of the number of women involved and the complexity of the family dynamics.
As of January 4, 2026, Cardi and Diggs are still together despite everything. She attended his Patriots versus Jets game on December 28, 2025, just 2 days before the criminal charges were filed, and they're both active on social media, acknowledging each other and acting like everything is fine. Cardi is preparing for her Little Miss Drama Tour, which launches on February 11, 2026 in Palm Desert and runs through April 18, 2026 in Atlanta. She has a new album to promote, a new baby to take care of, and a tour to focus on. Diggs and the Patriots clinched the AFC East Division title and are preparing for the playoffs, where his performance matters more than ever. But underneath the surface, there's so much complexity that can't be ignored. There's an ongoing divorce that won't finalize because Offset won't sign the papers. There's a complex blended family situation with multiple baby mothers who may or may not want their children around Cardi based on their own boundaries. There's a criminal case with an arraignment scheduled for January 23, 2026, where Diggs will have to answer to felony and misdemeanor charges in front of a judge. And there's the court of public opinion, which has already made up its mind about this relationship and isn't being kind. So, was Cardi B's relationship with Stefon Diggs a mistake from the start? Based on the timeline and the facts we've laid out, the answer seems pretty clear and obvious. When you start a relationship with someone who has an active paternity lawsuit hanging over their head, when you get pregnant while that paternity case is still ongoing and unresolved, when you discover your partner fathered 3 children in the same calendar year with different women, when he spends Christmas away from your newborn baby, and when he faces felony criminal charges for alleged violence against a woman, at what point do you admit that maybe this wasn't the right choice? Cardi said in December, "I can't go back in time, I already had a baby," and she's absolutely right about that. She can't change the past or undo what's been done. But the public criticism isn't really about the past anymore at this point. It's about the future and what comes next. It's about watching someone make choices that seem destined to lead to heartbreak and wondering if she'll recognize the pattern before it's too late to protect herself and her children.
Cardi B is an incredibly talented artist, a successful businesswoman, a mother of 4 children, and a survivor of a very public and messy marriage to Offset. She deserves happiness after everything she's been through. She deserves a partner who respects her and is faithful to her and prioritizes their family. Based on everything we know from the verified facts and the timeline, Stefon Diggs does not appear to be that partner. The truth is, sometimes we can see a mistake from the outside that the person living it can't see yet because they're too close to it. Sometimes we watch people we care about, even celebrities we don't know personally, walk into situations that have disaster written all over them in bright red letters. And sometimes all we can do is hope they figure it out before too much damage is done to them and their children.
This is one of those times where the warning signs are flashing. The relationship between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs showed warning signs from October 2024, and those warnings have only gotten louder with each passing month. Whether she'll listen to them is something only time will tell, but based on the facts, based on the timeline, based on everything that's happened in just over a year, it's hard to argue that this relationship was ever a good idea from the start. And listen, if you made it to the end of this video, you're clearly invested in this story. So do yourself a favor and subscribe to stay updated, because this situation is far from over, and we'll be covering every development as it happens. What do you think about this whole situation? Was this relationship doomed from the start, or does Cardi deserve the chance to make her own choices without judgment from strangers on the internet? Let me know in the comments below, because I genuinely want to hear your perspective. And if you found this breakdown helpful and informative, make sure to like this video so the algorithm shows it to more people who need to see the full story. I'll see you in the next one.